All right, welcome back to the Scope podcast with another fellow YKTR sports member, podcaster himself, the Barely Ballers, Jackson Thomas. Thanks for coming on, brother.
What's up, baby? How are you?
Yeah, really good, brother. We'll get into. We want to make sure that the punters are subscribing, as per. Lukey normally takes care of that, but he's put all that pressure onto me today. So
I was about to say, big responsibility, mate.
Yeah, I'm actually a little bit. I've been nervous for a potty in a minute, but he's put a lot of pressure on me. But one thing I do like stressing is my gratefuls, brother. It's something that I've been starting with, as you know, for a lot of my podcasts this year. So do you have a grateful for us to kick us off?
Yeah, you didn't give me a lot of warning for this. Yeah, grateful. Well, look, I think the easiest one for me, mate, is I'll be grateful for Auntie Jacinda. So your boys touching down in Sydney in a couple of weeks, and if it wasn't for the old girl, I don't think we would be. So New Zealand leads the way, as you know, mate, as a fellow Kiwi in a lot of things. And the COVID-19 response has been nothing short of spectacular from the old girl. So borders are open, green travellers, no need for a test. I'm coming in, baby. So grateful for Auntie Jacinda, I reckon.
That's a fucking really good grateful. Like you said, I'm Kiwi. I'm very proud of her. I'm very proud. I seen a little bit on 660 the other day. They were considered the world's biggest band at the moment because they're playing to the biggest crowd in the world at the moment because of how well we handled the pandemic, how well we handled COVID. So outstanding grateful from you, brother.
Right, I think they did 25,000 at Valley last weekend or 24,000 or something. Yeah, something stupid like that.
Is it the Rhythm and Vines Festival too that goes on? Did that go? That went ahead with no complications and a few other festivals. I think the Cheese was at a festival too around the same time. I thought
it was the same one as me.
Yeah. So, mate, that's unreal to still be doing those concerts, festivals. The Bledisloe Games, Tri-Nations and shit that happened over there last year, just unreal that she's been able to get the country. Obviously, she took a lot of flack for it early on, didn't she? Like, around the world, everyone was doing.
When we first started the show and go when I was in lockdown, and even Ice and Lukey, like, you're not far away, but even when the boys were over there and I went into lockdown, I'm like, what the fuck's doing? Like, why are you jumping into lockdown? So it was a bit, she went early as how good's a YKTR political podcast. But, so she killed it, man. She killed it. Always grateful.
Well, considering your gratefuls on Auntie Jacinda, my grateful was actually pretty similar. My grateful today is for a nice elderly lady that I met today. So as you know, I get after it with Friday Frisbee. That little routine is Friday Frisbee into a swim at the Vibe, aka Oak Park. And when I go down there, there's generally a lot of old people down there. And what I do is most mornings, especially, normally I'm by myself, but this time Sammy was there. I like to chat to the elderly, They're just really nice people. They've got a lot of wisdom. They've got a lot to give. Sometimes I think the youngsters, just ignore them. But because
run a bit of a muck.
Jacko, you've got to know me a little bit. I love talking to anyone. Like if I because I'll just start up a conversation with this nice elderly lady. She must have been 60 plus. But if I was to do that with a 25-year-old girl, or someone a bit closer to me, she was like, "Oh, he's hitting on me." I'm like, "No, I'm not, bro. I just want to enjoy my morning swim, find out about your day." I told her, I'm excited about a day. It was nice to chat to her and whatnot. So I'm grateful for that elderly lady that I met today. She brightened up my day, and then I went on to next door. Simmy was there. I think the lady swam past and she said, "Oh, you like your cougars, do you?" Simmy's like, easy.
Oh no, you can't avoid it, mate. Raw sex appeal. Well, there's not much you can do with that, even if you just want a casual conversation. So,
yeah, exactly, mate.
That's your curse.
Sometimes the youngins just they don't know how to deal with just a normal conversation. And when you speak to the elderly, they're actually they're stoked. They're keen for that sort of stuff. So I appreciate it this morning.
There you go, mate. That's a couple of nice gratefuls, I think. Wholesome, something different.
So we've rolled from the gratefuls. I feel like there could be an ungrateful for you, like with the news that's just happened in the last week. Your boy, RTS, he's going to the All Blacks. He's switching codes at the end of the season. How are you, mate? Have you recovered? And where you at mentally right now with that news?
Yeah, mate. Where do I? The first 24 hours was tough. As you probably would have known from the chats, the WhatsApp chats going a bit dark. It takes a while for me. Look, mate, there's two things when you're a sports journalist. The number one thing they teach you is separate yourself. You're no longer a fan. You play it down the middle and you're an unbiased observer, and you report the facts.
Well,
I never got that. No, not with the Wars, not with the Mighty Warriors, mate. They're in my blood. So, obviously, I was first sort of started covering the Warriors when he signed. My first full year covering the team was 2018 when Rog landed, 2017 rather.
Yep.
And so he's been a big part of my life. So the news was tough to take, but like Cameron George sort of alluded to, in sort of the aftermath, everyone who's in and around not only the Warriors but rugby league, this wasn't unexpected. The timing, maybe it was similar to like Mooks getting the ass last year. It was always coming. Rog was always going to go to rugby eventually. And I never saw him doing the Benji and possibly leaving his run a little bit late, with respect to Benji. Benji probably made the switch a little bit late because he just killed it rugby league for so long. Why leave? Rogers, mate, he grew up playing rugby. I wrote a piece for Stuff a little while ago. I'll send it to Lukey. We can dump it in here. But I did basically a big, deep read profile on Rogers. It's one of the proudest things I've ever done because it was my favourite player. Like Rogers, Sean Johnson's my hero. Like I grew up watching Sean, but Rogers my favourite player. So I got to sit down with him, and his whole life, mate, he idolised his old man. It was him and his old man. Those were the two that they built his step, they built his mindset. It was those two. And his old man was like a local rugby hero. So Rog grew up his life wanting to play rugby. He just happened to be fucking amazing at league. That's the pathway that ended up going. And, old Pete O'Sullivan and the Roosters put a 17-year-old, boy from South Auckland up in Coogee and shouted his old man a couple of nice dinners and got them into the 20s program, as the Chookies do. So, but Rog was, he was a Blues 18 star. He was always in the All Blacks sort of pipeline. The news didn't shock. It was hard to take, but didn't shock anyone. And above all else, two things, mate. The Warriors are going to be sweet, and he's going to go down as probably outside of Isaac John and Stacey Jones. He'll go down as the greatest Warrior to ever live. Yeah. I think he's the greatest club player we've ever had. Him, Simon Mannering, kind of battle it out there, but he's going to be a great All Black as well. So, oh yeah, of course. We're not going to forget OG. We're not going to forget the 95 OGs. But, there's a couple that you put up on that pedestal. The Warriors haven't had amazing, they don't have the Darren Lockyers, but you've had Stace, you've had Mannering, you've had Isaac John, and now you've had Rog. So, good on him. News was hard to take, mate, but I'm okay.
Yeah, well, you know what, mate? You mentioned one of the names here. We've put it out on the podcast before, but I feel like there's something. There you go. That's waiting for you when you arrive in the country, mate. There you go. So I think that'll bring you back to the grateful vibes. Isis, we've had that ready for you to go. So that should help lessen the blow, I think. Like you said, an old Warriors legend.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only thing that could mend my broken heart, I think.
So, mate, well, we'd like to have a laugh about that, but you are arriving soon. We're looking forward to that. What's the actual date? What's the big plans? You've got the Barely Ballers podcast as well. How's that going to roll? Are you still going to do that? Are we, what sort of content are we going to be whipping up, brother?
Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I'm excited. First of all, I'm pumped to get over there. And obviously, we've only linked up a couple of times over the last couple of years when I've been there. So it's going to be fun just to be in and around a bit more consistently. I'm going to sneak another little grateful in here because not because I'm trying to get a start tonight, but I think it's appropriate. I got to give props to the wife because she's allowing me to sort of take this. It is a gamble. We're leaving quite a good little situation here. As we mentioned, Auntie's killing the country. I've got a nice little job and it's all just popping, but I want to come and be around you guys. And I think we got something here. So she's letting us come over and have a nudge. So I land on the 21st, I think is the Sunday, 21st of Feb. Then rolling on the Monday. Yeah. So rolling on the Monday, the 22nd. The Barely Ballers pod, it's fun. Alex just talking about sport. We'll still do it. We'll figure that out I'm going to have to Zoom it, but we'll figure out content-wise what we're going to do for it. And I'm sure you and I, with our mutual interest in all things US sports and just generally talking shit, we'll have a bit of content lined up as well, bro. So I'm fucking excited, man. It's been a long time coming and the borders are open so I can actually do it. Just get in the building, bro. It looks fun. It even looks fun where you're sitting right now, man. So I just want to get there.
There is I look comfortable, don't I? I'm just, kicking back. I've got a swivel chair. Like, life's good. I'm grateful for this. But yeah, mate, really looking forward to having you over here. We're going to get into some NFL chat, but like I know, obviously your basketball and your NFL, me and you can get pretty wild, and not wild, but we go back and forth.
With it.
Yeah, we can go through some group. What we go through in the group chat I think it would be really good content for us. because like I said, you know, when we first started off doing this podcast, it was to do more in the American sports, and due to COVID and a little bit of uncertainty and doing some more NRL stuff, we tend to focus on that. But it's going to be a big year, mate. This is exciting area. Things are flowing nicely.
Yeah, how are you sort of floating into it? Because obviously you came in with this idea to do this podcast. The podcast is blowing up. The SPC's bloody blowing up. The old punters club, and now you've got a little son in Simmy that you got to look after and make sure he doesn't run off when the parents aren't around. So how are you finding things at the moment, mate? What am I coming into? Are you all right? That's what I'm asking. You all good?
Yeah, I appreciate you asking me. Another grateful because you were able to chuck another grateful in, and I never put a cap on grateful. So if they keep coming, just keep them coming. Grateful for the goat, so Sonny in the SBC. He has really fucking kicked off the Scopes Punters Club. As you know, we've been getting on a bit of his mail separately. I said to Ice the other day, me and Ice had a meeting and we were talking about Simmy, and I said, you know, the thing about Simmy is that, you know how in the past, it's, you know, when I was sort of coming through, there's a way you can talk to the Islander kids, the different way you speak to some of the Kiwis and Aussies. And what I mean by that is some of the Islander boys, they don't like to be rah-rah, like, you know, you did this wrong, you carry on. Whereas you do that to an Aussie kid and he'll go, fuck you, I'm going to come back harder. You sort of need like, you know, your father, they've always reacted well, I believe, to, you know, father sort of mentality. What's the word? You know, that sort of father figure.
You're not giving them a cuddle, but yeah, just it's got to be handled different, don't it?
Yeah, and that's what we're going to do with Simmy. So Ice is going to be the head coach. He's going to fucking rip into Simmy when he needs it, and then he can come step into my office, and I'm the assistant coach, and I'm going to tell him he's going good, and he needs to stay positive and be grateful.
It's the Craig Bellamy, Stephen Kearney approach, mate.
Mate.
Ice will give him a spray, and you pull him off to the side and say, "Did you absorb that, mate? Did you understand what he meant there? You know what I mean?" Yeah.
Who would have thought, looking back to 2012, that I was taking the Stephen Kearney approach? So, a bit of irony in that, mate. But moving on, mate. This is what we want to do. We want to have a bit of NFL chat today. This is our Super Bowl preview. Your thoughts last week? I had a few points that I thought they were important for the championship weekend. When you watch the two games, you're obviously, for people that don't know, you've put money on the Buccaneers to win it. You're right in the GOAT. That went well for you. They beat my Packers. What were your thoughts on that game, firstly?
Yeah. Well, I'll brush over them pretty quickly because obviously you broke it down, I thought, quite well on Friday, and I'll let you know as much. So grateful for that, mate. But yeah, look, I thought, obviously, of the two games, that NFC match was always going to be the coin flip game. I don't think anyone, despite me giving you a little bit of stick, I don't think anyone actually thought the Bills were going to get up. Disclaimer, I've been on the Bills all year. As soon as they signed Stephon Diggs, I was
Oops. Lost you there for a bit, Jacko. Hold on one second.
Going to be a problem.
Sorry, mate. Just pull up there. We lost you there.
I thought the defense was going to be a lot better. I got that game. Wasn't Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. It was that Bucs defense. And it's been the difference for the last few weeks, probably. So, yeah, they got the two best linebackers in the game at the moment, I believe. Now that Bobby Wagner's kind of started to fade a little bit. Bobby's always been my dude, but he's faded. The Bucs got the two best linebackers in the game right now. They're just, mate, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this as a Packers fan watching that game last week. Their speed from behind that front four, and the front four get an amazing push for the Bucs, but their speed at linebacker, at cornerback. Murphy Bunting's not a great corner, but fuck, they fly to the ball, man. Like, they look like they'd be a nightmare to play against. I heard Christian McCaffrey on First Take yesterday saying that, like, they're not the best defense in the NFL. Yeah. But you walk away from that game bruised, walk away from those games frustrated. And I think in the Super Bowl, if we're going to start to get into that a bit later, but you've got to frustrate teams. You've got to upset their rhythm, especially a team like the Chiefs who thrive in rhythm and thrive in that tempo. So I loved it. I was on them against the Packers. I kind of never doubted it, even though Aaron Rodgers had the ball late in the chance. I always liked that Bucs defense, man. I think they've been special, and the GOAT's the GOAT, but he's not going to blow a lead. So as soon as they got out to a lead, Scotty Miller did his thing.
Yeah, we actually missed a little bit there, Jacko. You cut out there for a little bit, so we missed the Bills breakdown. But like you said, it's not one of those games that sort of needed too much.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Yeah, that's all right. But on when we sort of come back in, you were talking about the Buccaneers linebackers. I said the same thing. I don't know if I said it in your group, in our group chat or in the fantasy group chat. I said one of the strengths of the Buccaneers right now, and this is one thing that the Packers thrive on, is free plays. And what I mean by that is Rodgers often gets teams interchanging because when you change into different formations, like just say if it's 3rd and long, they generally bring on another DB, another guy's a little bit quicker. But because their middle linebackers are so fast, they don't need to interchange. So Devin White and Levante David stay out there the whole time. So Rodgers wasn't able to get those free plays that he normally really good at, that sometimes lead to fucking touchdowns. Like that's why that was definitely a big part of the game. The offensive line didn't hold up. Jimmy Bureau, who listens, a friend of mine, he's a big Bucks fan, said I was more talking about how the Packers fucked up than what the Bucks did well.
Than what the Bucks did well. Yeah. I'm going to have to back him up then. I did think that. I was like, at some point he's going to give Scotty Miller some shine here. Surely. At some point he's going to give that Bucks offense a bit of shine.
Yeah, mate. But yeah, the one thing obviously that comes into it is just Brady making really big throws, especially to start the game. Like to get that belief to go into Lambeau, a couple of really big 3rd and longs to start the game, that gets the entire, like, if you're the defense on the side for the Bucks, you look at that going, shit, that's why we got the GOAT, baby. Like,
that's all right. And did you hear, I think it was Levante Davis after the game saying, it was either him or another one of the Bucks players was crying after the NFC Championship game. And Goat walks over and goes, yeah, the fuck you crying for? We've still got a Super Bowl to win. Like, different, bro. Different mentality. And, like, you've played enough sort of professional sports environments when that dude's in your team, every time. And Finchie, I've heard Finchie say it as well when he talks about playing with Freddie. Cam Smith as well. He says, if 9 or 6 is putting the jumper on, I know we're a chance today. And you get that sense when Tom Brady's in that fucking locker room, it doesn't matter who you're going up against. It doesn't matter that it's Patrick Mahomes and all those. You're going to have guys like White and Davis, Murphy Bunting, all those defense boys going, fuck, if we can just hold these cunts to like 21, 28, the GOAT will get us home. So I like him, man.
Yeah, so big props to them. Jimmy, you get your shout out. You get, we got pretty...
smart man, Jimmy.
Yeah, there was a bit of carry on and it got a bit aggressive in the group chat. People will, there's 12 of us in the group chat and the rest of the boys will just let us go back and forth. So there you go, Jimmy. You get your shout out. The Bucks again. So sorry, we're having a few difficulties here. We've moved into Lukey's office because we've got construction happening outside. So we've had to move in here. The internet connection's not as great. So Jacko's been cutting out a few times. But we're moving on to the Super Bowl, Jacko. If there's been... Having your hard-earned cash on the Bucks, what scares you the most from the Chiefs? What's the part of the Chiefs that you're more worried about for this game?
Yeah. Look, I was just saying before Lukey's phone cuts out as he always does. I was just saying, bro. I'm saying the Chiefs defense, and I'm saying it for. I know it's a bit of a curly one, but because obviously Tyreek Hill's a fucking nightmare. Travis Kelce's a nightmare. Patrick Mahomes isn't that bad either. So I say the Chiefs defense in this sense. I think this game, and I'd be interested to get your thoughts on this, it's going to come down to, it's going to be very close. I don't think anyone predicting a blowout's out of your fucking mind. Tom Brady doesn't do blowouts. So it's going to be close. And I think it's going to come down to what defense can make a big play. I love the Bucks D, and I think in this game, if they can get 2 turnovers, they could go a long way to winning this thing. Mate, all the Chiefs need to do is get 1 or 2 extra possessions for Patrick Mahomes, and it could win the game. So when I say what I'm scared about, I'm scared of the honey badger. I'm scared of Tyrann Mathieu flying around back there, and whether he picks someone off or blows up a big play, or I'll tell you what's not going to happen. You're not going to get Scotty Miller running down the middle of the field past the cornerback because Tyrann Mathieu's going to be across there putting a cap on him. So the Chiefs D is sneaky good, mate. It's overshadowed a lot of the time by how good their offense is, and rightly fucking so. But they've got ball players out there, man. They got a couple of nice pieces out there on defense that, if you're a Bucks fan like I am in this game, I say day one because I got on in pre-season, but this year I'm day one. So that scares me, bro. I don't like the honey badger back there patrolling because he can make some big plays, man. So if I had to say one thing that's going to scare me, outside of the obvious, it's going to be Tyrann Mathieu, man.
Yeah, for sure. Just on your point there with the defense, they're a very opportunistic defense. They've got a couple of. Yeah. If you look from top to bottom, you'd probably think that the Bucks have got a more consistent lineup, but they've got a couple of real big superstars. One of the guys I highlighted last week, who I think is going to have a big game again, is Chris Jones in the middle. For me, he's a top 5 defensive player in the league. Second to probably Aaron Donald at his position, but by not even that much. And then you got Honey Badger at the back, who gets, within that scheme, he gets to sort of run his own race. He pops up all over this place. even that Sorensen, I think it's I was going to say Scotty Sorensen.
Slept on, bro. Yeah. Anytime you see a white corner or a safety, you think you probably take a shot at him, but boy gets it done up there.
And last year and this year, he's come up some really big plays in the playoffs. So he does a really good job there. So I like that point. For me, being on the Chiefs, clearly the obvious strength for them last week, which I think is going to cause the Chiefs problems again this week, is the defensive line. We talked about, yourself, you're in the messages talking about how easily Shaq Barrett and JPP were getting to Rodgers and put some pressure on him. But I mentioned in the group chat, Big Vita Vey and Ndamukong Suh in the middle. They demand that double team, and therefore it gives the privilege and the pleasure for guys like Shaq and JPP to get off. They're elite pass rushers in the NFL. When they only get one-on-one, like that shit doesn't happen. Right? It's because the big boys in the middle, they can fuck the game up as well. So that line, and then obviously you chuck in Levante David and Devin White on the back of that. It's very reminiscent of the 49ers team of last year, actually.
I was just about to say that's what scares me, because everything you're saying right now, you could have been saying last year, and that's what makes me fucking nervous.
Yeah, like I said. So they had really good front line, and then linebackers covering. A little bit scratchy in the back end, like everyone knows about Richard Sherman and the 49ers, but they were a zone team, and what they relied on was the front four getting back and putting some pressure on like they did, but Paddy was still able to come up with the goods. So is he going to be able to do it again this week? I think he will. I think he overcomes that beast front four and potentially one more where they like to rush five. Sometimes they'll bring Devin White or they'll bring Levante David, put a bit of pressure on, and then that opens it up for Tyreek Hill and some of these guys up through the guts and behind the middle.
I'll be very interested to see, no one's had an answer for the Chiefs this year, in terms of how to play them defensively. And I said, if you listen to the Daily Ballers potty or any sort of my commentary on this season, the reason I liked the Browns, and people kind of laughed at me, when I said out of the AFC, the only team I thought could hang with this Chiefs team were the Browns. And the reason for that was the only way I see a fucking human being team on earth beating the Chiefs is to outscore them. And you have to outscore them on a day when Mahomes has an off day, which is, we kind of haven't seen it yet. But Patrick on an off day, they're going to put up 30 points. Can you score more than 30 points? The Bills were never going to do that. The Bills were going to grind you out, a nice little 20-point game, 21-point game. That's how they roll. So I never thought they were a fucking chance. The Bucks, on the other hand, can score a lot of fucking points. They can put up numbers. We've seen it this year. They can score. I'll be very interested to see. The Bills, the reason I thought the Bills fucked up, they played a defensive scheme last week, which was anti-Chiefs. They hadn't played like that all year. But they were playing so deep, man. They were basically saying, no matter what happens, they were so scared of Tyreek Hill getting behind them, keep everything in front of us. And all that Patrick Mahomes did was just go, sweet, well, let me throw it 14 times to Travis Kelce. Yeah. And even when I hit Tyreek Hill on a 5-yard slant, the cunt runs for 55 yards. So I'll be very interested to see how the Bucks...
It's fucking so hard, mate, to defend them.
It's the old Madden drag play. You can't defend it. So it's I'll be very interested to see how the Bucks decide to play. I don't think they will change because the Bucks are going to Bucks. But I'll be interested to see what those linebackers do, because one of them's going to have to be on Travis Kelce at all times, or at least have his fucking eyes on him, which is going to open up that underneath stuff. And if you get guys like Hardman, Pringle to a lesser extent, but Tyreek Hill obviously catching those underneath players that go big. Yeah, exactly. So if they start to get a lot of that early, I think they'll change it up. But just quickly before I'll pass it back to you. The thing which I think is in the Bucks' favour in this game is the Chiefs, for whatever reason, I don't know whether it's coaching or whether it's just the way they like to do shit, they start slow, man. They start so fucking slow. Even against the Bills, they were down, it was 9-0. Could have easily been 16 if Old Mate had caught in the back corner of the end zone. But Honey Badger got his hand in there. But they are very slow starters, and Tom Brady, he doesn't play that game. He doesn't, when he's ready to go, and he will not give up a big lead. So the Chiefs have kind of ride and died in the last couple of years of in the big games. They get down, fucking 20 points, and you go, who gives a fuck? We got Mahomes. Sure enough, they come through and win it. Brady's a different animal, man. So I'll be very interested to see how the game starts. And if you're a Chiefs fan, I think you'll be hoping to get the ball in your hands first and put some points up.
Yeah, you're right. Start's going to be really important for that. You pretty much touch on a lot of the stuff there, Jacko. So from a Bucks point of view, though, where do you think, what's their biggest strength? Where do you think? Is that the most important part? You mentioned that a little bit. But what are their strengths and capitalizing on the Chiefs' weakness, do you think?
Well, the Chiefs' weakness, even though I just said I was most scared of their D, obviously it's the weaker side of their game. So the defense is the weakest part of their game.
But if they come up with big play, then they're going to be. You can't beat them. Is that what you mean?
You can't beat them. So I think if you're a Bucks fan, you're going to be having a look, and he was a hero in the NFC Championship game. He's been very good all year, and with AB sort of questionable, Scotty Miller's going to have a big part in this game, man. I don't know whether it's going to be one big play or 5, chunk plays in the middle and third down. Scotty Miller is a legit 4.3 speed. Like the cunt can fly, mate. Like fly. So I think crucial is going to be the start. And again, if you're the Bucks, you're going to want to get the ball. Both teams just want to have the ball, man. Whoever controls possession in this game is going to win it. So, but I think you'd be looking. Here's my little, scoop. I think you'd be looking. If you're future casting here, Scotty Miller's going to have a big say in this game, one way or the other. Unfortunately, it might be a big drop because he is prone to those deep in the back of the end zone there. But I'm going to be looking to Scotty Miller, and I might even be getting on him for a cheeky little, 2 touchdown and more sort of punt in this one. So
that's a big call. I thought you were going to say any time, but you're going 2.
Nah, I might go 2 or more, man. I like him in that slot position, man. And depending on what AB does, I don't know what his health's like. And to be honest, even when he was healthy this year, I prefer Scotty Miller. But I'd be interested to see what you're thinking. If you're your beloved Chiefs, so you're obviously a diehard fan, all of a sudden after 1 week, what's key for them, mate, going into this one?
Mate, so pretty similar. I think, obviously when you take out the main 2 options, I don't know. After Tyreek Hill went off for something crazy like 200 yards and 6 catches. Like I think he scored on his first quarter. First quarter. Scored those 3 touchdowns off his first 3 catches. It'd be crazy to think that they don't somehow try to take him over the top, like take him away out of the game, like the Bills try to do. Obviously, they live and die by potentially dinking and dunking to Travis Kelce, and if they do a really good job on them, one guy who's been out for a while, who's been really important to their run over the last couple of years, like I mentioned, is Sammy Watkins. People forget Sammy Watkins is a first-round pick, like top 5, top 6 pick back in the day. And obviously, when it comes down to big moments, everyone assumes that, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce in particular Travis Kelce gets it more often than not. But if Travis, I lost him again. Are you still there, Jack?
I got you. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
We're good. When they take him away, if you look back on a few big moments last year, Sammy Watkins was his guy. And so I'm looking at guys like Sammy Watkins and Mecole Hardman. I think the Bucks' run defense it's just way too good. I don't think the Chiefs get caught up in that battle at all. So instead of having those 3 to 4 yard carries, I think there's going to be a lot of dinking and dunking. It's going to have to be quick. The offensive line is not strong at all. It'd be if there were all the 32 teams, I think it would be in the bottom half of the competition.
Mate, further to that, I was about to say, even when they're healthy, they're not great, and they've lost 3 of their fucking starting line, mate.
Yeah, exactly. So I imagine the Chiefs are going to spread out a little bit, bring, Pringle, Hardman, Watkins, a few of these sorts of guys. I think they're going to have, I'm looking at some of, if we're from the punting side of it, I'm looking at some of these guys that have overs. If I'm looking at and betting on the rushing yards, I think, Damian Williams and Edwards-Helaire are sitting around the 30-yard mark. I'm going unders on that. I don't think you can run on this Bucks team. So I think I might put together a little multi, and my multi will look off the top of my head because I've been watching it as the week's been going on. I'm going to take Mecole Hardman and Sammy Watkins on the overs. I think they're same thing around like the 28-yard mark. That's going to take potentially, 2 or 3 carries to get them there. And if both of them are capable of just busting off one big 35-yarder, like, when Patty Mahomes, can beat the rush and then make that secondary play and find one of those guys, they could get it all in one big chunk. And like I said, that front 4, and with those linebackers, you're not going to be able to run on them. I don't think the Chiefs try to run them. I think, they play their game, they play to their strengths, and they don't let Bucks' strengths. Like I said, which was one of my concerns, I don't think they let them affect the game. So we'll see how that plays out, mate. I think it's going to be entertaining no matter what. We've got a GOAT versus baby GOAT matchup. This is what.
Let's go, GOAT. Let's go, baby.
Even just aside from the fact that we've got money on this, if I didn't have money on this, this would be probably one of the Super Bowls that I've most looked forward to since probably my Packers played in it, mate. Like we talk about some of the matchups that we've had in the past, like, Nick Foles gets the job done against Tom Brady and Eli Manning, like a few of those ones where Brady lost him when he's been around, but you're sort of like, fuck, not even keen for that. Yeah, Goff plays him and Brady beats him. Generally Brady's in there and he's playing. But a lot of those matchups have never, I've always wanted Rodgers to be on the other side of him. Obviously, we've never been able to get the job done. So to get Paddy Mahomes and Brady in a Super Bowl together, mate, that's a NFL fan's dream.
And to get them at a time when Brady isn't cooked yet, like he's 42 and he's on a different team, but he's played well enough this year that it's still Brady. You know, like when it was when the Broncos got there and Peyton Manning was the quarterback and Cam was being Cam, it wasn't really the MVP versus the GOAT because Peyton was so far gone. I mean, Brock Osweiler did it for most of that fucking years, and then Von Miller then took over. So Rodgers versus Mahomes, I think, in terms of like matching their pure talent up, would have been a cooler matchup. Yeah. But team for team, you've got this elite defense with this offense that can score points versus this elite fucking offense with a defense that can score points. Yeah. It makes for, I tell you what, if you're a good journo, it makes for good writing. So I love it. And if I could just piggyback off your multi, like I said, I love Scotty Miller. It's fucking value. Scotty Miller for 2 or more touchdowns. I also like at least 100 yards for Leonard Fournette. I think early on they're going to be tucking it under his wing. And pounding it through there, just trying to open up something for Brady. And at that point, that's when I think they're going to parlay into those Scotty Miller down the seam sort of shots. So I like Fournette in this one, and I like Scotty Miller as well.
Would you want to go? We'll go 2 legs each, eh? You want to do that for the SPC?
Yeah, but there's going to be some value in that with Scotty.
I'll come up with my 2 best ones out of them. I think I might go Clyde Edwards below then because I think Damian Williams is more likely to run. Clyde Edwards might get a few passes out of the backfield. And like I said, I reckon Sammy Watkins is going to be the guy in big crucial moments. So I might go him overs and we'll chuck that into a little multi together. Just to finish off, the one last question is I've seen with the build up into this, obviously we're talking about the 2 main quarterbacks. Is Mahomes a chance of catching the GOAT if he does not win this Super Bowl?
No, I think catching, I mean, kind of answering 2 questions there. Catching in terms of total number of Super Bowls, fuck, probably. I mean, the bloke's going to be there for 10 years and they're going to be there and thereabouts. But if you, right now, there is no one close to Brady in terms of being the GOAT. He's the fucking GOAT. The only one who's sniffing it is Mahomes because he's so talented. Yeah. If he loses to Brady, I don't care if he wins 10 in a row, mate. I honestly don't. If you lose to Brady, that's on your record. You lost.
Brady.
Yeah, you lost to the 43-year-old guy who's the best in the world, and he did it, like you just said, when he's 43 years old. So, I don't care. If he loses this one, mate, and again, Mahomes is still going to be Mahomes. He's the fucking LeBron James of the league. Like, he's going to be the best player in the league for the next 10 years. If he wins it in 10 years in a row, I still don't think you're going to get it because you lost to Brady, man. At least petty cunts like me are still going to hold that over his head. So, talent-wise, he's the best I've ever seen, but no, not if you lose to Brady.
I believe they've got a 2-1 record at the moment. That will then take Brady to 3-1 in the playoffs.
Game over, maybe.
So, therefore, I think it puts an end to it. So, legacy's on the line for both of these 2 guys. Obviously, Brady to go, if he's to get 7, surpass MJ in rings, and then Baby Goat, if he's any chance of being in the conversation in 10 to 15 years' time, he's got to win this one. So it's going to be a good Super Bowl, mate. Can't wait for it.
Can't wait, baby. Let's do it.
And I can't wait to see you too, brother. See you soon.
21st, man. Let's do it.
All right. Thanks, lad.